Hello, clients and friends. So happy to see your faces. And if you are calling in via phone, happy to have you on the line. As you know, we are focused in 2020 on wealth and wellness. Now, little did we have any idea that health and wealth were going to crash into each other this year. So this event that we're holding right now virtually was going to be an actual lunch in our office. So I miss being with you, but we could really expand our reach and do this virtually. We will have the rest of the series this way and can recirculate the dates for that. Um, Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Kaysen DeMaria. She is from Drugless Doctors, a chiropractic and nutrition-based practice right here in Ohio, in Westlake, and then in Naples, Florida as well. A wonderful family business. Dr. Kaysen is so passionate about education and helping people be healthy and spreading the good word and good vibes that I'm just delighted to bring her to you today. So I will turn it over to her. Like I said, you'll be muted during the call, and if you have any questions, please type in the chat box, which is at the upper right-hand corner. It looks like a little thought bubble, like in a cartoon or a comic. Enjoy.
Thank you, Kristen. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. And I know we had so much fun a few weeks ago with your team, Kristen. And my whole goal of this afternoon in our short time together is to identify areas that you can work on in regards to creating better habits during this season of life, the season of time. And so many people right now are looking for a different approach, not only for their own health, but also for their neighbors, their loved ones. I know we did a little survey with the Fairport team, and some of the results that came in, I can share. A lot of other people are looking for these goals and really working on supporting them. So number one in the top 5 areas that people are most looking to improve are number one, decreasing stress in their life. So any raise of hands out there live, does anyone want to work on decreasing stress? And also number 2 was working on healthy habits and mental health. And I know with May being mental health month, this is a huge area that we are seeing not only in our office, but across the country, areas that people are searching and looking for a different approach to their mental health. And they're really just desperate right now, I think, for a different approach to help to really improve not only their own, but their family's life. So that's what I get really excited and passionate to talk about with you today. And Andrew Connors, I'm going to give you a shout out here because I have your article here that you wrote. And in the Little Fairport Wealth Minding Your Business of April 2020, he shared that this recent health crisis has caused many people to stop and reflect about their own health, adopting new habits like daily exercise, which we're going to talk about today. Also, creating a long-term health and wealth for your family has helped in this time of uncertainty, and establishing a family mission statement is often a part of these missions. So I want to start out by having you all write down this question, because this is really what we're talking about this afternoon is, what is your personal health mission? And have you even thought about what your health mission, your health goals are right now in this season of life? For some of you, if we're really honest with ourselves, maybe you really haven't thought about your own personal health goals, but you're thinking about what comes up throughout the day and how to put the fire out, and whether that's working remotely, taking care of your grandkids, taking care of your parents. I have a lot of people right now in our practice that they're trying to figure out the details of taking care of their parents and also their grandparents. And it's all about having a plan, not only for people in your life, but for your own health and mission. So what I want everyone to do right now, whether you want to unmute yourself or write in the chat box right here, is what are you working on right now for your own personal health goals? Or have you thought about your health goals and your healthy habits right now?
Okay, here you go.
Michelle said better.
She should call on the people. She's supposed to.
Moving more. Excellent, Kristen. Anybody else? So moving more, eating better, stop eating comfort foods. Sherry, I think that's really a big one. Started doing yoga, meditation. Judy, creating a long list of daily routines like gratitude journals, savoring moments, moving, walking up to 12,000 steps a day, Nancy. I think that's fabulous. And what's really exciting about all of this is all of these habits over time, they're going to create health in your overall body. So I want to start out by talking about what we work with in our own body. And I have all my fun friends with me this afternoon here. Can everybody see this? This is you. So your brain sits in the skull right here, and it travels down as the spinal cord. Even as all of you are sitting here watching me, I'm looking at all of you with your posture. And did you know that your head weighs 15 pounds? So every inch your head goes forward is an extra bowling ball of pressure on your spinal cord. And that can actually impact your ability to breathe, but also the energy in our body. So a lot of times we don't think about with stress or not moving and maybe eating comfort foods and maybe you're eating more processed foods or sugar. You don't really think about, okay, I'm eating these items, maybe I'm sitting more. How does that really create stress in my body? And if you are working from home and maybe you're working on the computer, what I want to talk about is your spinal health. Your neck curve, it should look like a C. Most of us have straight necks or even forward posture from gravity, sports. I was working with a gentleman this morning, and he's actually a correctional officer, and he used to play football, and he does weight training, and his head is so far forward, and he said, you know what? I've never really even thought about my posture. And his mate said, you have really terrible posture. And he looks at her like, I didn't even notice that. So we are investigators of the body. So I want all of you to work on your posture even throughout the day as you're working on your computer. And some of you, I'm looking at you right now, some of you have really nice posture, and some of you could be maybe more forward than you should be. Does anyone have a standing desk at home? And you can interact here on the chat box or unmuting yourself here. Does anyone stand?
Hi, this is Melissa. I do. I'm standing at it right now.
You are. And how has that changed your energy throughout the day? And what have you noticed from standing versus sitting?
I mean, it certainly keeps me more engaged, especially on those days when I'm sitting here as I am today, drafting documents on my computer. And it's really been a huge help for my low back because I'm more aware of my posture.
That is excellent. Does anyone else have a standing opportunity or a standing desk? And what have you noticed from standing versus sitting? No one here, no one else. But I would encourage all of you, if you don't have the ability to stand up, what I want you to do is, and write down this on your piece of paper with your notes as an action item, is look at your ergonomics at home, or if you're working right now, look at your computer screen. And is it in a position where you can look straight ahead, or is it too high or too low? I have people right now in our practice that they're working remotely from the dining room table, or they're sharing a home office with their mate, which actually I've heard two sides of the story. I had a woman today, she said, it's terrible working at home with my husband. I'm running around and he closes the door and he actually thinks that my 3-year-olds aren't going to go in and visit dad. So you could be working on maybe some internal stress right now of working at home and figuring out a different balance with your mate. But I do know sitting is the most amount of pressure on your spine. And even in the last week in our practice, I had more people that have had plantar fasciitis, heel pain, knee pain, foot pain, because they're sitting differently, but also because they're moving differently. And I want you to think about something for a moment. You actually could be having plantar fasciitis or foot pain, not because of your foot, but actually because of how your hips are misaligned. And that could be coming from even more sitting, or maybe you've taken up a new activity or a new exercise. So I really want you to think about your whole body working together, and it's like a big puzzle. So you have your brain, your nervous system, we have the spinal cord, which is inside the spine, and here your hips are, and only 10% of these nerves can feel pain. And even all of you that are sitting right now, you might even have numbness and tingling in your legs and your feet and your toes, and you think that's actually normal, but that's not normal. So we really want to figure out what else is going on. Judy, she wrote in the chat box that she got a Bosu ball to work on for balance, and I think that's excellent. And that's one of the items that all of you could be doing is get a large exercise ball, 55, 60 centimeters that you can actually sit on. Make sure it's blown up. Get it out of the basement, get it out of the garage, dust it off, and sit on it, and you could actually bounce on it side to side, hip circles, and that creates lower back motion to the discs and the nerves. Does anyone right now have a Bosu ball that they exercise on or that they sit on at work? And you can type in the chat box or feel free to unmute yourself here. Anybody? I see one raised hand. That's good. But this exercise ball, this will be key for all of you. And it's really simple because anyone can do this. It should not aggravate your lower back. So if you start doing this bouncing and it does cause distress, you may want to consider overall doing a different type of exercise. Carolyn, you said yes, you have a Swiss ball to exercise on, and then also Sherry, you have one. I think that's one of the most cost-effective things that you can do. If you're sitting, you want to break up your time of work, because if you're not getting up and moving, you're stuck in that position, your head's in this forward position, and that can impact your energy, your breathing, even your brain function. Sherry asks, can you sit on the Bosu ball? Yes, you can. I might recommend that you sit on it, bounce on it 10 to 15 minutes a day. I wouldn't recommend sitting all day on the Bosu ball, and the reason why is because you're activating different muscles as well as spinal structures, and it might aggravate your lower back, especially if you're not used to doing this. Just like going out and exercising, if you've never done something before, you could have areas of tightness. There are Bosu ball work chairs, and I have people that they like that. What I do like about that chair is it provides a lower back support. So you do want to be supported in your lower back and function. So as we're talking today about different habits, and I talked a little bit about this, but your form directly impacts the function of your body. Also, the fuel that you put in your body is also another component. So with that, the form, function, and fuel, it's all connected. And I know today my main goal for all of you is to take one action item away about what we talk about. And so far we've been talking about your posture, which directly impacts your function, but also how stress, and that was one of the top things that showed up on this survey, is stress and mental health. And we can't take away the stress, but I know if you were to put a little work into some of these habits, it's going to make a huge difference over time to decrease stress in your body. So I want to shift gears for a moment, and I want to talk about sleep, because sleep we all know we need, and it's very important for healing, and all of us should be sleeping 7 to 8 hours a day peacefully and restfully. And we find a lot of people in our practice, especially right now in this season, they might be going to bed later because they're staying up late, they're catching up on Netflix, or they're watching new shows, or vice versa. Maybe they're staying up late because they're thinking about things and they're stressed and they don't know what to do and they're trying to figure it all out. And I want to encourage you, there are things that you can do to take control of your sleep and your bedtime routine. Do all of you remember when you were a kid and you were getting ready for bed and your parents had a bedtime routine for you, or maybe you created your own bedtime routine and it was bath time, reading books, maybe it was watching a show and then you were in by a certain time? I want to go back to those times when you were a kid to recreate your bedtime. And all of you, you should be going to bed before 10 p.m. And that's really important, because if you're not going to bed before then you're losing out on your natural melatonin, which helps you sleep naturally. Now, a raise of hands if you have your video on, or if you don't have your video, in the little chat box, how many of you, and to be honest, are taking something right now to help you sleep? Whether it's melatonin, whether it's a medication, and maybe some of you, you're drinking alcohol or you're doing other things to help you sleep. Some of you, I see big smiles on your face. You don't have to tell us which one you're doing, okay? Melatonin gummies. Oh boy, Melissa, I've seen gummies for everything these days. So melatonin gummies, I haven't heard of that one before, but I will have to look it up. You definitely want to look at the ingredients in those. But these items that you're taking, did you know it's just covering up the symptoms of what's going on? And these medications in our office, I was just working with a mom. She's been everywhere with her 21-year-old daughter, and she's having sleep challenges, she's having anxiety, she's on Prilosec, she's taking all these supplements, and she just doesn't know what to do. And I told her, we don't have a license to take you off these drugs, but we do have a license to educate you, and we want to figure out what is at the root cause that has been missed up until now, because it's all about detecting what's going on. So I want to give you some sleep tips. Is everyone okay with that? Yes? Okay. What I want you to do tonight when you go to bed, I want you to work on creating a healthier bedtime. Actually, the time. Some of you right now might be going to bed at 11, 12, or you don't really know. And I want you to work back to that 10, 10:30 time frame. Even if you feel like you don't have to wake up to do something the next morning, because when you're rested, you're going to have more energy throughout the day. And I'm sure that you see that even in your own life, is when you wake up, you're rested, don't you feel better throughout the day? Your energy, your sleep, your motivation, even your mental clarity. Sleep is really important. And I think that that's one thing that you should be doing, but you don't really realize that over time, if you're not sleeping, other challenges can show up in your body, especially when it comes to stress, mental health, anxiety, depression, things that people want to work on. Also, when you go to bed tonight, I want you to turn off the lights and look around at the light. And Dr. Bob, I know I learned this from you, is wherever I go, it's like we're a detective of the light to see, is there light coming underneath the window? Do you have little lights on the TV? Is there a fan in your room? Do you have an air conditioner? Do you have your cell phone in your room? Do you have a computer in your room? Are there places that light is sneaking in and that actually can impact your ability to fall asleep and to stay asleep. So I know all of you probably have some black tape at home. That's one of the best things that you can do is go around, put it on the lights, and your overall shades. You want to think about getting some blackout blinds underneath, which are really cost effective. You can get that anywhere. Sherry, she wears a sleep mask, and if that's your preference of having a sleep mask, that can help too. Some of you might not like things being on your face or your eyes. So I personally like to go around and look through the light. Judy wrote in the chat box, I naturally go to bed late, 1 a.m., but I sleep until 8 or 9, so it shifted, but it works. And I understand that Judy, with going to bed later, you're still getting your hours, but you might want to think about bringing it back just a little bit, and that way you can wake up earlier, and you'll find even waking up early and getting up earlier, you're more motivated even in the morning to get more done in less amount of time. So really consider that might be something just to try and see how it goes for yourself. Nancy wrote, I got special light bulbs that take out the blue lighting so your body can relax. Now, where's Nancy at? I want you to unmute yourself, Nancy.
Okay, I'm here. Hi, everyone.
Nancy, tell us about these special light bulbs that take out the blue lighting.
Well, of course, I got them on Amazon, and I can find the link and send them to you. I've used them for 2 nights because I've had sleep issues most of my adult life, and I've tried everything, melatonin and everything. And I even started listening to Mind Cleanse, which is a really good app that it gets you into a relaxed state, and the gentleman tells you a story. And the first few nights that I used that was like a miracle. And then I think my body got used to it, and it doesn't work as well anymore. If I don't listen to it for a couple nights, then I go back to it, then I listen. But the blue lights, they're like the same thing. They are also advertising these glasses that you can wear. A lot of us are using our cell phones, Kindles, watching TV, and it emanates a blue light that makes your mind race. It kind of excites you, and we don't realize that. So they tell you get off all your instruments, everything, turn off the TV like 20 minutes before you're going to bed. But I like to read, and I've been reading on my Kindle and really, not doing so well going to sleep. And then I heard about the blue light bulbs, and I also got the glasses too. And it's supposed to increase the natural melatonin in your body with the blue lighting. And so it doesn't emanate a blue light, it's almost like a golden light, and it works very, very well. And so I'll find the link and I'll put it in the chat box.
Excellent. Thank you. I think that's wonderful. And if that is working in, that leads me to the next thing with sleep is minimizing the screen time, because you are right, Nancy. It does trick your brain. If you're reading on an electronic, if you have your phone, your Kindle, if you're watching TV, it actually stimulates you to wake up. And some of you, I'm sure you've experienced this, is you go to bed and you're tired, but then you might check your email, you might look at something, and then it stimulates you to actually wake up. So you really want to minimize that before you go to bed. And if you're reading, read a book, read something where your eyes are actually going in that pattern to help with the nervous system and the relaxation with that. So sleep is very important. Kristen, you also said you have a Calm app and listen to a 10-minute deep sleep audio. I know there's a lot of meditation and breathing apps that people use. The Cleanse Mind, Nancy, that would be interesting to look into. Larry wrote, we use a Himalayan salt lamp to cure your snoring, and we no longer use any TV in the bedroom. Wow, that's really good. And I do want to say there are a lot of people that snore, and that could be because of what's going on in your neck, but it also may be from what you're eating. And dairy and bread and peanut butter, these are common contributors to snoring. And we have a lot of true stories about this when people come into our office with their mates and we are talking about their health goals, what they want to work on, and you always see a really strong elbow to the mate of, you snore. I can't wait to get rid of your snoring. And then the other person might say, I don't snore, but believe it or not, and my dentist here in Ohio, there are apps to actually record your breathing at night, and it records your snoring pattern. And that could be from a lot of things. That could be from your spinal health, could be from your foods you're eating. It might be from your pillow and neck position of how that's impacting those nerves for your breathing. But it could be a lot of different things. And I encourage you, if you've never been evaluated with your spinal health, you may consider coming into our office or wherever you're watching from, is going to a chiropractor, and we actually do x-rays of the spine, and we can see how your spine is moving or not moving to see what else is going on. Kathy says, can you please repeat those items that can make you snore? Yes, I can, Kathy. Peanut butter, dairy, which yes, includes cheese, as well as bread. Those items can cause inflammation in your body. And inflammation, it might show up as snoring, but it also might show up as inflammation in your body, weight gain, mental fogginess, could show up with like constipation. And I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago with the Fairport team here. We had a lot of fun when we were talking about this, is all of you should be having 2 to 3 bowel movements per day. That's every day, 2 to 3. That's not one every couple of days. And some of you, from our experience when we work with a group of people, look at Dr. Bob's even got our poop emoji over there. And you see our little poop emoji right there. It has a smile on its face. And the reason why is because people who poop are normally happier. I know I won't ask for a raise of hands over here, our comments over here, but I know in regards to your digestion and colon health, when you have a happy colon, everything else is going a lot better. And we go back to the foods. Number one is, are you eating any of those foods I just talked about? Are you eating dairy? Are you eating bread? Are you eating peanut butter? Judy, thank you for your honesty. You said those 3 foods are truly your favorites, and you said I'm in trouble. Don't say you're in trouble. We just detected it, so we want to come up with a plan to see if we can help you with that. And those foods also can cause this. Does anyone know what this is? This is the interactive portion of this afternoon also. So Judy says fat. Does anyone know how many pounds of fat this is? Any guesses? I have a guess of 1, 5, 5, 20. Sherry says 20 pounds. Someone I just heard said 10. Any other guess?
10.
5. Another 10. Okay. It's 5 pounds. And you might see people talking about the quarantine 15. That's 3 of these. That's a lot of extra weight. I have a gentleman last week. He looked so defeated when he came in for his we did his progress evaluation to measure his goals, and initially he came in, he wanted to lose weight. He's a construction worker. He wants to increase energy. He wanted to increase his libido, which is a very common area that we help people with, to increase energy and health in their body. And we've been seeing him for the last couple months. And I asked him, so how's it going? And he said, Dr. Kaysen, I have to be honest, I gained my 15 pounds back. And I said, what's going on? And he said, I'm being a couch potato because I'm at home, I'm not working, my wife's working, but I have my little daughter and we just watch cartoons all day. And I said, you can't do that. We want to work on getting you back to where you were at before you regain the 15 pounds. So I want to encourage all of you, really evaluate what you're eating in this season of time, because if you are gaining weight, it's very difficult as you work on retraining your body and getting back to normal. I know none of you that are watching here are like this, but I had someone a couple weeks ago. She's a realtor and she's doing really good. She's a runner. And she said, my friends, Dr. Kaysen, when they go back to work and they have to put their dress pants on and button them back up, some of them are going to be really surprised. And I said, why? And she said, because they're not going to fit in them anymore. And they're not even aware of what's going on because they're wearing their sweatpants, their pajamas. Now, I don't have anything against sweatpants and comfortable clothes, but you do want to evaluate what you're putting in your body, because it's very, very easy to gain that extra weight if you're not measuring yourself. Does that make sense? Is everybody with me? I'm wearing jeans for that reason. Good job, Melissa. That's good. Honestly, that is a marker, right? Is, can you still fit in the clothes? Are they fitting the same? Some of you may or may not be weighing yourself every morning, but I do encourage you at least once a week to be weighing yourself as we're going through all these different changes, because at least you're going to have a marker for where you want to be and a self goal, because that extra weight, that's going to increase pressure, not only on areas of your body to fit in your clothes, but also your energy and your breathing. So I want to shift gears here. Everyone hold up your water. Does everyone have their water? You know how everyone, this is so funny, everyone's having these happy hours and different things going on. So let's do a cheers to our water this morning. This is really key, because all of us should be consuming half of our body weight in ounces every single day of pure water. So what I would like you to do is write down how much you weigh on your piece of paper in front of you. And there's no judgment here. We don't have to type this in the chat box over here, but half of your weight. So type out how much you weigh, write it down, divide it by 2, and then star it, circle it, and write ounces next to it. And that's how many ounces of pure water you want to be drinking every single day. And over here, Judy wrote, my weight stayed the same, in check, even gone down a tiny bit. And if I moved more, it would help a lot. I think that's really good. And half of your body weight in ounces. How is everybody doing on that? Is anyone reaching that so far?
No.
No? Anyone? No? So how close are you guys? I'm looking at all of you. We have 42 people in this room and no one's reaching their water goal. What's going on? Are you consuming other beverages throughout the day? Melissa says she'd rather drink coffee, and some people are drinking water. I even have someone over there holding up their sparkling water. Is that a Trader Joe's bottle? It is. Coffee by the gallon. Crystal Light. Okay, this is what I want everyone to do. I want you to start measuring out how much you weigh in ounces, half of that. So this, Emily said, overall 60 ounces a day since our last session with you. Thank you. Congratulations. So I want you to measure that out, half of your body weight in ounces. I want you to get some water bottles and fill it up and actually put it on the side of your desk, so that way you visually see it, and you want to be drinking it throughout the day. And what's amazing is, as you increase this water, and purified water is always the best, and you want it to be from a pure source, because if you're drinking tap water, that does have chlorine, bromine, and fluorine, which are other chemicals which can change and alter your body, and this can impact your thyroid gland even. But working on drinking it throughout the day is really key, because if you drink it tonight before you go to bed, as you're looking at your lights in your room and you're making sure that you're going to bed early, you're actually going to be waking up in the middle of the night thinking about us and thinking about Dr. Kaysen, because you're going to be peeing, and that's normal, because you want to be going to the bathroom, you want to detox, you want to work on losing weight, but you don't want to be drinking all of your water before you go to bed. So what I like to do is I put the water on my desk, and then throughout the day, as we're helping people, I continually am running in, drinking water. And I will admit, some days when I'm in the car and I'm driving home, I am chugging some of my water around 6:30, because I'm thinking, oh, I might have not done the best today based on what's going on. But I do know that since I've been measuring out the water, keeping it in the fridge, and having it throughout the day, I'm definitely doing a lot better. And really, you're going to see changes even within a week of increasing your water with your skin, your energy, your bowel function, and filtered water. I have a question here from Linda from Abrita. Yes, that's fine. And Carolyn said, I drink at least a liter of Trader Joe's water every day, plus a glass of water after I work out. I do want to share with you a couple things we noticed a few years ago as we're doing blood chemistries, and Dr. Bob was working with someone, and she was actually drinking, I believe, 6 or 7 sparkling waters a day. And sparkling water, that is an alternative option for people rather than soda, even better than something like these flavored waters. When you go to the grocery store, you see so many different types of water. People actually are confused now when they're standing in front of the water in a store, because there's pH water, alkaline water, electrolyte water, there's flavored water, naturally flavored water, still water, distilled water, and people really don't know what to do. So I want to simplify it. Purified water, something like the Brita, something like reverse osmosis. We use something called iSpring in our house that filters the water, and I'll type that in for you. But going back to the sparkling water, if you're drinking too much sparkling water, it can alter the minerals in your body, and you could have an imbalance of calcium, magnesium, and it could cause kidney stones and even other stones. And this woman specifically was having kidney challenges and kidney stones. And we've even had gentlemen in our practice have kidney stones from drinking soda and diet pop, soda, things like that. So I want you to really consider and evaluate how much pure water are you drinking. Coffee is okay if you're drinking that. In regards to, you want to make sure that it's organic if you're drinking coffee, because they spray a lot of pesticides. They spray it all over the beans, and that can impact your liver function, which is your main detoxifier. So really be mindful of the sparkling water and start evaluating what you're putting in your body. And this may be something for some of you out there to actually do, whether it's on your phone or on a piece of paper, is start recording everything that you're putting into your body. We do this in our practice with our members when we're working with them nutritionally, is we do diet sheets. And start with 7 days in your own body, and start writing down your breakfast, lunch, dinner, beverages, including how much water you're drinking, coffee, tea, anything else you might be putting in your body, because that's really important. Sherry asked, how much is too much sparkling water? My daughter drinks at least 3 a day. Well, I would really work on starting with half your body weight in ounces of water, and then I might recommend doing 1 a day, but really over time, 3 a day, that might be a little much. The way we would really truly find that out, Sherry, is we do different evaluations in our office to see how her digestion would be and other factors in regards to her kidney function. Larry says, go through the calculation of how much water we should drink. So half of your body weight in ounces per day. I put that in the little chat box there. So you write down how much you weigh, divide it by 2, and then in ounces. Sherry also says there's fun apps about drinking water. You water the plants. If you don't water the plants, they die. You are right, Sherry. I like that. And out of all of us here, 42 people right now live here, and out of all of us, I think I had one person say, or two people say that they drank their water. If anything you get it and take away from me today is increase your water. I see someone chugging their water over there. So remember me today as you're looking visually and drinking that water. So I want to transition and talk about the food a little bit, because we talked about the peanut butter, we talked about the dairy, we talked about the bread. I want you to increase those living foods, those green foods, to keep it really simple. Just as Sherry said, if you don't water your plant, it dies. The same thing about our body if we're not putting living food in it. And you might not see it on your body like you would in regards to with a plant, and you see the roots and the soil and you see the petals, but on the inside of our body we look all through the nervous system with different assessments, and we can actually measure your body temperature, all based through something called thermography in our office, which measures function on the inside. It's kind of like a lie detector for your body, all these different tests, because even though we might ask you questions about yourself, sometimes when we ask people about, do you eat sugar, or do you eat ice cream, do you eat yogurt or berries, or are you eating cookies right now? And sometimes people say, no, I don't eat any sugar at all. And then we start looking at their scans, and then what we do is we give them a diet sheet. And we always know when someone comes back and we see their diet sheet, and then you have blanks on certain meals. Typically, when people travel a lot, they might not be writing out their lunch meals or maybe their dinner meals or even the beverages. We say, what's going on here? And they said, well, I already knew that it wasn't good, so I didn't write it down. And I already knew that the sugar or the things that I'm consuming, they're not good for my body. And I would encourage you not to tell yourself that you're in trouble or that you're bad, but really figure out one meal a day that you can start working on. Is it breakfast? Are you even eating breakfast? I have some little props here, and these are some of my favorite props, because when I went and I did a talk one time, truly, this woman, she said, Dr. Kaysen, I love donuts. I'm so happy you brought them today for a snack. And you might be consuming these on a regular basis, maybe for breakfast, maybe you're not eating breakfast, you're skipping breakfast, you're eating coffee, you have a pastry on the go. Over time, these items can cause inflammation, and they might be a contributing factor to your snoring, your low energy, maybe the need to grab a coffee around 1 or 2 in the afternoon because your blood sugar is crashing. You want to really fill your body with proteins, vegetables, and living food. And if you don't like vegetables, then you want to figure out a way to prepare them with butter, seasonings. And one of my favorite things, which we have in our practice as a seasoning, is Celtic sea salt. And this is by a company called Salina Naturally, and we use this liberally. This is one of the best things that you can do to add minerals to your life. And I even sprinkle the Celtic sea salt in my water, a fourth of a teaspoon in your water every day. And I do a fourth of a teaspoon in every 20-25 ounce bottle of water, because these electrolytes are essential for healing. But some of the body signals you might experience for a need for minerals would be if you have leg cramps. Maybe you have twitching. I have some people that they have twitching even in their eyes, or different twitching going on in their body. You might get dizziness, which this dizziness could be a need for minerals. And I will write in the chat box, Salina Naturally Celtic sea salt. We do have this on our website, but also we have it in our office. And Salina naturally, commonly you can find this in a health food store. Whole Foods has it, but I like the fine ground, and you can get the shaker, and you sprinkle it liberally on your food for seasoning. Sometimes people say, well, Dr. Kaysen, Dr. Anthony, Dr. Bob, Dr. Amy, isn't salt bad for you? And yes, that is correct. If you're eating table salt or salt that's bleached and refined, it doesn't have any nutritional value. Our bodies actually need salt. And if you're exercising and you're sweating, and if you ever tasted your sweat before, it tastes like salt. So definitely encouraging all of you, put it in your water, because that could be an area that you're lacking. And sometimes when I tell people the amount of water that they drink, they say, if I drank that amount of water every day, I would be in the bathroom all day long. And I don't know if any of you experience this, where you drink water and then you have to go to the bathroom right away. Does anyone have that happen to them? A couple people. Well, that could be, I see this gentleman raise his hand, that could be a couple of things, but it might mean that you need more minerals in your body. And I've had people, just by incorporating the minerals in their body, notice that that improves with their amount in the restroom. And Michelle, I love that you wrote that in your water. When you put Celtic sea salt and lemon in it, you drink more water if you add it. And I noticed the same exact thing. If you have lemon or organic lime, you put some Celtic sea salt, that's your natural electrolyte water for the day. Is everyone learning something so far? Is everyone getting at least one tip? Yes. So I have a link here as we talk about foods and different food options. I know right now there is a concern with a lot of people maybe going out and actually being out in the grocery store right now, and I understand that. And if you're looking to support local and different options for your family right now, we've partnered with the Chef's Garden. And has anyone ever heard of the Chef's Garden before? Anybody? Couple people, a little bit of people. So I wanna encourage you. I sent you the link here. That way you can look at that later. But the Chef's Garden, this is a local farm, and they supply all of the vegetables to the Michelin star restaurants. And they have created home delivery boxes for families to be provided and delivered right to your home. And they're doing specials on their vegetable boxes right now currently, and in regards to with their free shipping. But I want to share with you a personal testimony about Chef's Garden. Is since we've partnered with them and with eating their, and I don't even like to use the word organic, because I know that even in their farming practices, it's different than organic, because even the purity of the water and the soil, they have a chemist on their farm that's actually looking at the nutrient value in these vegetables. But since I've been eating the vegetables, and I know, as well as with the drugless doctors here and our team even, is you notice how your body changes when you put better ingredients in your body. Even with their vegetables, their carrots do not taste like an organic carrot that you would get at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. And if your kids don't like vegetables, or maybe your grandkids don't like vegetables, try something like Chef's Garden. Or I know people also have partnered with Imperfectly Perfect, which is another local place. But see what is available locally and organic. But going back to the Chef's Garden, a great opportunity to try advanced vegetables and Michelin star chefs, and we absolutely love supporting them, a local farm. And get creative with this time also with what you're cooking, because if you're in the kitchen more and maybe you're around your family more and you're spending more time, you could use this as a connection time to actually build relationships. And I always like to share with people, preparing ahead of time with your foods is really important, because that saves you time as you're working. But I know in this time, I've had a lot of people share with me that they haven't been preparing as much in advance, but they've been taking time throughout the day during lunch or dinner to actually be with their family and create new recipes and try new vegetables and new things. So think of this as a new opportunity to create different things. Jay says, my wife is a Michelin star quality cook. Well, she should definitely check out the chef's garden and take some pictures and then send it off so that way we can see what she has made. And I have a lot of people, they're posting their pictures on their social media of what they're creating. I encourage you, create more vegetable dishes and see what you can do with the seasonings that you might have at home. Mario asked me, do you think places like Blue Apron is a good idea, health-wise and cost-wise? You know, Mario, I have had a lot of people like Blue Apron, or they've done different meal prepping ideas in regards to their family. The thing I would say would be is if you can, request the proteins and the vegetables. A lot of times they have different menu selections, and they might have things that are more paleo-like, but proteins and vegetables are key to really decrease inflammation and to help your body be healthy. Which salt from Salina Naturally? They have many kinds, and which would you recommend? Well, the one right here that I have is the fine ground, and it says fine ground, Celtic sea salt, unrefined. They have different gray salts as well, but I like the fine ground. It's the light gray, and they have lots of different ones that we've helped. Our grocery cart's filled with fruits and vegetables, but not toilet paper. I'd encourage you, Jay, reach out on your social media to see if anyone can help you out with that. And it's amazing because as you go to the grocery store, it's an interesting time here. You go to the grocery store, there are lots of vegetables, but you might not find the Clorox wipes or the hand sanitizers that you might be looking for, but there is plenty of fresh food. And it's all about creating these habits. And just to recap here before we get into some questions and answers, Kristen, we talked a lot about your body. And there are things that you can do to help your body to decrease stress. It does take work. There is no special magic pill to help you lose 15 pounds, increase energy, help you go to the bathroom better. It does take work because we want to evaluate what else is going on. Some of you might honestly not know where to start. When I was talking about water, food, exercise, you might say, oh my goodness, I need to do everything. And you might be looking for someone to help you with that, or maybe you've been everywhere and you've really lost hope in what you're doing. And I want to be an encourager this afternoon with you that if you are looking for a different approach and even just to talk to someone about what's going on, we are here in Westlake, right across from Crocker Park, and we sit down and we actually listen and we talk to you about what your health goals are, what's going on, what you've done up until now, and then we let you know if we can help you. And I tell people when I meet people and they see me and they ask me about their loved ones, and I share with them the same thing I'm going to share with you is just schedule an appointment and come in and let us do a thorough evaluation to see if we can help you. And I'll put the little form up here in the chat box if you're interested in doing that. But it's all about creating a plan and not waiting. The mom this morning that I was working with, she was crying and the daughter was crying, and she's 22, and she just said, we've been through everything since she's been a high schooler. And she said, I just want my daughter to be able to wake up in the morning and not be concerned about if she eats, if she has to be near a bathroom. She said, this is no way to live in. It's just heartbreaking, especially if you yourself have a loved one in your life and maybe you have kids and grandkids and you know that there's something else going on, but you just don't know what to do for them. So I encourage you to consider looking at things differently, and it's not always how it appears to be, because you don't know what you don't know, especially with what's going on the inside. So I just put that little form there, and that's a little link to our website to put some information if you're in regards to coming into our office in Westlake. And I know Dr. Bob, he's in Naples, Florida. So if you have family members or other people in your life that they might not live here, but they're looking and searching, we are here to help. Michelle says, you've been wonderful improving my overall health. I have come off my medications, lost weight, and increased energy. Thank you. Where's Michelle? Michelle, can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Now, because you shared that in the chat box, now I want everyone to know, due to HIPAA and confidentiality, any information about anybody, even if they're your neighbor, your nurse, your doctor, your dentist, whoever they are, your financial advisor, we don't share any information. But because you did write that down, Michelle, can you share a little bit about what the biggest thing is you noticed in your body, if you would feel comfortable with that?
Sure. One is posture. So my posture is really bad. One of the things that you all helped me find was, and I knew that my posture was bad ever since I was young, but didn't know I have like a curvature of the spine. And you've been able to improve that for me. But the biggest thing was I was losing energy. I was so tired and had trouble sleeping a little bit. And that has, I still have periods of that, but that's been fully restored. And so I feel really good. I have a lot of energy. So I want to go and exercise, which has then helped in losing the weight. And then you want to eat, you do want to eat better. I still have work to do, as you know, because I love my sugar, but I'm working through that. And then my daughter sees them too. She has asthma, and since we've been seeing you all, she has not had to use her inhaler but one time, and that was because she had the flu.
That's awesome.
So like she's even noticed it considerably. Like it's amazing.
Thank you for sharing that. We love helping families. I have little goosebumps. You can't see them, but I do. That's why we show up every day, is to improve health and work on being the best. Mario, your best friend, was a chiropractor in North Carolina, retired. He went to Life University in Atlanta. That's our school also that Dr. Anthony and myself went to. I love Atlanta. So what questions do all of you have? Questions or comments for me? I know we have just a little bit of time left here, and I want to make sure that I'm relevant to you if there's any questions that I may have not answered for you this afternoon.
1:30.
1:30 something? Is it interesting? Is it? Are you taking notes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kristen, any lasting thoughts?
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, this is Elliot. When you calculate the amount of fluids, you do it by pounds or kilos?
Well, I would do it by pounds.
Pounds, she said.
I have a question. I don't eat a lot of meat. I eat just a little bit of chicken. With the protein, is it the beans and stuff? Is that okay, or is that bad for inflammation, or what? Just curious.
Yes, and that's a great question. So in regards to proteins, and you said you do chicken, I would vary your foods. So if you're doing beans and other foods, I always recommend varying it, because if you're eating too much of the same thing, you could have some digestive challenges. And a lot of times in our practice, even as we're working with people that are plant-based diet, or if they're limiting different items, a lot of times if they are having digestive challenges or other things, they might need an additional enzyme to even break down beans or rice or other factors that they're doing.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. And Sherry typed in here, I was looking at the saw iodine or no iodine. Sherry, we have iodine that we utilize in our practice separate from the salt, and we do specific blood tests in regards to iodine function and working with someone nutritionally, but that is something separate that we incorporate. And Dr. Bob's female hormone book is #1 in the world for balancing female hormones, Sherry, and he talks about thyroid function in that book. So that may be a great resource for you as well, and I'll type that in there so that way you can look it up. Apple cider vinegar. I do have people that use organic apple cider vinegar, and they like to use that on their salad, Mario. I think that would be something you could incorporate. Larry, what are some home exercises to help with balance? Larry, if you go to our YouTube channel, The Drugless Doctors, or our Facebook page at The Drugless Doctors, we have a lot of fun videos on there. But in regards to balancing exercises, you could do one leg standing on your foot, and even look up balancing one leg exercises, and we use that a lot to help to support balance and function. And I'm a huge fan of resistance bands, and you can use this easily at home to strengthen your neck, your lower back, if you're sitting, your posture. I was talking about that exercise ball earlier. You can even lie back on the exercise ball to stretch back on it. I know even with a weight you could do that to help with your posture. And I incorporate that into my routine, and all of our members in our practice, I'm always encouraging them to make sure that they're stretching, they're doing balancing exercises. Core strength exercises are really important as well, especially all of us. We've all been sitting here, and all of us, that's a lot of pressure on our spine. So after this, you want to make sure that you get up and you move, and even bounce on that ball, stretch, go for a walk. I like bike riding also, Larry. So that's something that's really low impact on the joints for a lot of people, even if you have a recumbent bike. Sherry, you also asked supplements for PCOS. Commonly, we do find what's really interesting, because you had asked about the iodine also earlier, is a lot of times we find that to be due to a subpar thyroid or a lack of iodine. And we do something called breast thermography in our office, which is a different functional approach for women, different than a mammogram. It doesn't replace a mammogram, but what it does show us is temperature in the body. And a lot of women we found from doing this in several years is a lot of times they could have PCOS or even cysts on their breasts from having a low thyroid, and we've been able to help them with that. So I'd encourage you, look up our website and the thermography. I do that quarterly here in Westlake, and I also know that we do that in our Naples practice as well. And women as early as 25 can start doing that. And Sherry, you live in Charleston, South Carolina, so get that book that I put in there, Dr. Bob's Guide to Balancing Female Hormones. And we also do consultations all over the world with people as well. Even if you live in Charleston, we'd love to help you.
I think that's it. I don't see any more questions in the chat. Thank you so much, Dr. Kaysen. Thanks for being with us today and spreading all the good health and wellness. Sorry for the technical difficulty. I'm not really sure what happened, but we have recorded this, so I will send it out to all of you in case in between part 1 and part 2 you missed some advice. But please check out Drugless Doctors. They are awesome on social media, have a lot of great videos, and how often are your workshops?
So our workshops, we do monthly workshops, and our next one coming up actually is going to be next week on Wednesday at noon, and that's going to be on increasing energy on our Facebook page. But we do have Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I've been donating a lot of fun virtual talks recently, so if you have a business or a group, I would love to donate my time to offer any type of insight to help with health. And what's really cool is Dr. Bob, I just opened the box because I was so excited. Dr. Bob's brand new book just got released and printed on mental health. So I know May is Mental Health Month, and we're looking to truly change how people think about mental health and other things they can do. And they can, you know, all of you, if you were to go to LinkedIn or Facebook or social media, you can get connected through there. Kristen, I will send you, if I have the outline, I can resend that to you in regards to our services as well, and how people can connect with me, even my email address, to see how I could be of service.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. It was nice to see everyone's face. Dr. Bob, thank you for calling in. And everyone take really good care, be healthy and well, and enjoy the time with your families or whoever you're quarantined with. So we will be in touch.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Kristen.